Good morning, children. Today I am going to continue the lesson of non-detailed English 10th standard. The name of the topic is Treasure Island. So here the paragraph we begin from 6. So in the previous paragraph we read that Billy was very angry and he had the fear that some clumsy people were following him, and Billy was one of the members of notorious Captain Flint's crew, and he was afraid that they were coming to him to steal the old sea chest. So the next we continue the story. But Jim soon forgot Billy's problems. So what was the Billy's problem here? As his father was very sick and he was totally disturbed by that. So very soon he forgot Billy's problem, for later that night the doctor told him that his father had died. So here Jim was totally busy in solving his own problem. On the other hand, he could not concentrate on Billy's problem. That night, Jim lost his father. His father passed away. The same day that Jim's father was laid to rest, means he lost his father. A blind old pirate, another one blind old pirate, and his name was Blind Few, came to Admiral Benbow. So that night when Jim's father passed away, that day another new pirate came to Admiral Benbow, as Admiral Benbow is one of the inn. So he came there. Jim unwittingly led him to the bar. So Jim, without being aware of him, unaware of him, means he was not knowing who he is. Then he took that person into the bar, where he slapped a circular piece of black paper into Bill's hand before he could avoid him. So before Jim stops him, immediately that blind few, he gave a paper, a black paper, he showed it to Bill. By the time Blind Few had taken his leave again, means before Blind Few went away from that place, Billy lay gasping on the floor. He saw that Billy was lying breathlessly on the ground, dying of a massive stroke. So he had a severe stroke and he lied on the floor. His last words were that the pirates would be upon him that same evening. So as Billy was dying, while dying, he said that some pirates may appear on that same evening. After hearing this, Jim and his mother quickly searched through Billy's precious sea chest, as Billy had the only possession, and that was sea chest. So immediately Jim and his mother, they searched the precious sea chest. His mother took as much coins as to cover the old pirate's rent. Uh, the mother found that the sea chest was full of coins. They were so good. Jim and his mother were so good that they could not take any extra coin except the rent of the inn, and not a half penny more. So even half a penny also more they did not take. While Jim while Jim found an intriguing bundle of papers. Here Jim found a paper, a bundle of paper, and that bundle of paper was wrapped in a oilcloth, means the cloth which was full of oil, which he pocketed as payment for his services. So, and that paper expressed that it was the payment for his services. Payment for his services means whoever had taken care for Billy, it was for them. The paper was for them. Alarmed by loud voices, Jim and his mother fled out into the night. As Billy already said that the same evening some pirates may appear in that place, the same thing happened. Immediately, Jim and his, Jim and his mother, they heard the loud voices, and both of them they fled out into the night and hid themselves. As blind few and several pirates arrived. So who had appeared there? The blind few and other several pirates came to that place, and they proceeded to ransack the inn. So as they came there, they started searching the inn. So here you can see the picture of Billy as he lie down on the ground breathlessly. Even you could see the sea chest which was full of coin, and later it was it was searched by Jim and his mother as they took how much coins they needed. They took it only those many which was equal to the rent of their inn. Blindfew and his pirates were outraged. So as Blindfew and pirates, they had come only to take the chestnut because the sea chest was full of coins. They were very angry that what they sought from Billy's sea chest had gone missing. So they were angry because they had come to search something in the sea chest, and now that was missing. Knowing that Jim and his mother could not have gone far, they rushed outside. They were sure that the thing which they were searching, it was taken by Jim and his mother. So they might have not gone so far. Immediately, Blindfew and the other pirates rushed outside to find them. But before they could find the fugitives, they were ridden down by several horsemen. So before these pirates, that is blind few and the other pirates, could search them, Jim and his mother were were ridden down by several horsemen, and they saw that they saw that they were not those fugitives. Fugitives were the fearful persons, and those fearful persons were blind few and pirates. So before those pirates catch them, they were they were ridden down by several horsemen. Jim and his mother saw that their saviors were revenue officers. So, who were those? They were not blind few and the pirates. Before they go, they saw other people, and those other people were the saviors. Saviors means protectors, and they were the revenue officers who had been tipped off that there was a pirate ship moored nearby. So, why those officers had come there? They were informed that there was a pirate ship which is which was moored nearby. The rest of the pirates had escaped. The other pirates, they escaped from that place, but blind few lay dead on the ground. But the blind few, he lay down dead on the ground, where he had been knocked down by one of the horses. So how he died? He died because of the knocking down of one of the horses. While his mother was cared for by friends. So here Jim's mother was cared by friends. Jim was taken to Square Trelawney's house. So Jim was taken by another person, that is Square Trelawney, where Dr. Livesey happened to be dining. So there Jim found that Dr. Livesey was dining. The Square and the doctor were local magistrate. So here the Square and the Dr. Livesey, they were the local judges, and asked to be told all that had happened that evening. So they forced Jim to tell what all happened that evening. When Jim had finished his story, he produced the papers he had taken. Means after telling to Square and Dr. Livesey that whatever had happened that day, he said the whole story. Then he showed the papers, whatever he had found there, adding that he was sure they were what the pirates had been searching for. Jim also assured them that the pirates who had come there, surely they might have come there to take the bundle of papers. The two men were in complete agreement. So here the two men were Dr. Livesey and Trelawney. They had an agreement, for what they had before them was a treasure map. So what it was? It was the treasure map showing where the buccaneer Captain Flint had buried all the booty. So that map was the booty of Captain Flint, the place where Captain Flint had buried all his treasure. Booty means here treasure. Square Trelawney and Dr. Livesey hurriedly made plans for a voyage to the island where the treasure lay buried. So, as both of them had an agreement and they decided to move to the island to get that treasure. Jim was to be their cabin boy, and they said that Jim will be their cabin boy. The square. Thank you, children. The next class we will continue the next passages. Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to continue the Treasure Island lesson of non-detailed English 10th standard from paragraph 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. The square travelled to Bristol. Bristol is a place. There, the square Trelawney he travelled, where he bought a fine schooner. There he bought a ship. Schooner is a ship with two or more masts. The Hispaniola, and the name of the schooner was Hispaniola. As well as he hiring a sea captain, he also hired a captain. The ship's cook was to be one-legged old sailor called Long John Silver, and they appointed one cook, and the name of that cook was Long John Silver, who had given Square Trelawney invaluable help in picking the rest of the crew. They appointed him as a cook because he had helped very much to Square Trelawney and his group. Jim and the doctor joined the square in Bristol on the eve of their departure. So when they were departing from that place, doctor and Jim joined them there. In Jim's absence, an apprentice was hired to help his mother run the Admiral Benbow. As Jim was going with them, so they appointed one apprentice to help his mother in the Admiral Benbow. At first, Jim wondered whether Long John Silver was the same one-legged buccaneer that old Billy had been so worried about. So when Jim saw Long John Silver, he was confused whether he is the same pirate buccaneer, same pirate whom Billy was worrying so much about him. But the ship's cook, nicknamed Barbecue, had such a pleasing manner and was so very friendly that he soon forgot all his doubts. As he was nicknamed, Billy was nicknamed with Barbecue, and he was so friendly with all of them that whatever doubt Jim had, very soon he forgot everything. So here you can see the picture of Bristol. When Jim, the doctor, and Square Trelawney went aboard the Hispaniola the next morning, Captain Smollett demanded an urgent word with them. So as they went, after their after they go, Captain Smollett he demanded an urgent talk with them. He said he was unhappy that he had no hand in choosing his crew. So he felt Captain Smollett he was unhappy because he did not he was not given a chance to choose any of his crew, and was unhappier still that everyone knew that they were sailing for treasure, and and Captain Smollett wanted that it should be kept a secret that they were in the hunt for treasure. As everyone knew about their sailing for treasure, he was unhappy with that reason. The square admitted he had been unwise to let slip their secret and promised he would keep the treasure map hidden from everyone. Then the square, he said he promised to him that he won't show the treasure map to anyone. So here you can see the picture of the schooner. The Hispaniola set sail on the evening tide and was soon making excellent progress. So as they started their journey with and the ship was excellent in its progress, the sleek schooner performed admirably. It was moving very progressively, even in heavy seas, as the sea was very heavy, and Captain Smollett had to agree that, in spite of his misgivings, the crew could not be faulted. Each man went about his duty in good spirit. Everyone was following their their principles and they were doing their duty. None more than Long John Silver with his parrot Captain Flint on his shoulder. So Captain Flint has parrot on his shoulder and the parrot was repeating these words, quaking, pieces of eight. And so the voyage proceeded without a hitch, without any stop. They proceeded their voyage, but there was treachery afoot. One could find a treachery there. Late one evening, as the Hispaniola neared its destination, so late as the Hispaniola reached to its place, Jim went looking for an apple to eat. So Jim was hungry and he saw an apple and he went there to get it. But finding the apple barrel nearly empty. So when he searched the barrel was empty. He climbed right into it. So he climbed on it. While hidden inside it, he overheard a conversation between Long John Silver and the ship's coxswain. So when he went to get the apple, by the time he heard the talks of the captain and coxswain. Coxswain is here a petty officer was in charge of the boat. Both of them were conversing, in which Silver boasted of his privacy with Captain Flint, who had died of drink, and of his plan to kill the skipper, as they were planning to kill the skipper, the squire, and the doctor once the treasure was found. So they heard the conversation that they will kill it, the other persons, as soon as they get the treasure. Jim was terribly afraid he would be found out. So Jim had the fear that if he was found there, they may plan to kill him also. But just then a cry rang out that roused the entire ship, for in the moonlight land had been sighted. So every one of them they cried means here they shouted because they reached to their destination as they saw the light land. Good afternoon, everybody. I am going to continue the lesson Treasure Island of Non-Detailed English of 10th Standard. The next morning, under Long John Silver's expert guidance, he claimed he had visited the island before on a trading ship. Long John Silver, he was expert in guiding. In his presence, once Trelawney had visited the island. The Hispaniola found a safe anchorage in an almost land locked channel to the south of the island. Hispaniola was a ship and it reached very safely by crossing the channel which was there in the south of the island. Jim secretly warned Captain Smollett, the squire, and the doctor of Long John Silver's treacherous plan. Then, as Captain Smollett, who was who was leading the ship, to him, Jim disclosed the plan of Squire And Dr. Live says, the captain said that for that time being they should pretend they knew nothing. Then, after hearing the plan of Dr. Livesey and Dr. Livesey and Long John Silver's, Smollett said to Jim that they act as if they doesn't know anything about their plan. As there were only 7 of the 26 people aboard the ship that they could rely upon. Out of 26, only 7 people were believing on them. The odds were stacked against their survival. The odds they were stacked against their survival. So see here in the picture you can see the island. Jim remarked that the treasure island had a brooding, menacing air. Then Jim said that the treasure island where they were about to reach, there was brooding and menacing air, that is fearful place also, and at the same time it was threatening also. He didn't know about treasure. Jim was not knowing anything about the treasure, said the doctor. The doctor also said that he too doesn't know anything about the treasure, but it was pawned to a penny that malaria lurked in the island's steamy marshes. Then doctor said that as that place was marshy and surely the place might be affected with the malaria. Now that the ship was at anchor, the ship was about to reach its destination, the crew became very agitated and surly. The crew, the group of people, the ship, the all of them, those who were there, they were worried and at the same time they were restless also, fearing they would mutiny straight away. So they have the fear that they will they will revolt straight away. Captain Smollett told them they could take the rest of the day off. Then Captain said that the rest of the day they will relax. Long John Silver, who had done his best to calm things down. So Long John Silver, he was trying his best to make the things calm, led a party of sailors ashore. So he took all the other sailors, whoever were there, he took them to the shore to enjoy. But 6 of their number were left aboard to guard the ship. So 6 of them, they were left there only so that they can guard the ship and keep an eye on the captain and those who were not part of the treacherous plot. Then they also told to keep an eye to watch the captain and the other persons who were there in the ship and those who were not involved in that cheating plan. Treacherous cheating plot is a plan here. Acting more on instinct than anything else, Jim hid himself aboard the boat that rowed ashore. Jim, he hid himself. He hid himself in the boat, and as soon as the coast was clear, made a run for the shelter of the nearby undergrowth. And as soon as the ship was near the coast, Jim ran away to take the shelter in the undergrowth. He was delighted that no one appeared to have seen him. Jim was very happy because he thought that as he came from there, nobody might have noticed him, and soon began to enjoy the unfamiliar feeling of being all on his own. An hour or so later, Jim was surprised by voices. So, an hour or little late, Jim was shocked because he heard the voices. He hid and watched as a little way off. He hid himself and started looking it from far. Long John Silver tried to persuade a member of the crew to join the mutiny. Then Long John Silver he persuaded the mind of one of the members who was there in the crew to join the revolt mutiny. When the fellow refused and started to walk away, the old pirate drew a long knife and stabbed him in the back. When that person disagreed to join the mutiny, then Long Silver he got angry and he drew a long knife and stabbed him on his back. Terrified Jim slipped away and ran for his life. As Jim saw it and he was afraid to save his life, he ran away from that place. He ran until his legs gave out. Jim ran so fast up to he became tired. Then, when he stopped to catch his breath, he found himself facing a wild looking man dressed all in rags. When Jim was tired, when he was unable to run out from that place, as he was restless, as he was tired, then where he stopped, he found that there was a wild looking man standing in front of him. That person was dressed all in rags. "I'm poor Ben Gunn," said the wild looking man. The wild looking man was Ben Gunn, and he introduced himself to Jim. He said that he haven't spoken with a Christian these 3 years. So he said that these many years he hadn't spoken to any good person, Christian person here referred to the any good person. Ben Gunn told Jim he had been on Captain Flint's ship. That person, that is, who was there in the rag, he was Ben Gunn. He said that he was one of the member of Captain Flint's ship when the treasure was buried. And he also said that when Captain Flint was burying that treasure, he had seen it and he was with him. The wicked pirate had taken 6 men ashore with him to hide the booty. Ben also said that he had taken another 6 persons also who were there with him to the shore when he was burying that wealth and murdered them all, so its location remained a secret. So he said that when Ben Gunn buried the treasure, he had taken 6 people with him. As he buried, immediately he killed those 6 persons because The location should not be known to them and they should not disclose that to anybody. So the location was totally secret. Ben had returned on another ship to look for the treasure 3 years back. Then Ben was the only person who had seen it from far, where where the treasure was buried by Captain Flint, and Ben Gunn went to that place 3 years before. But when they could not find it, his shipmates left him marooned on the island. With Ben Gunn, few more people were there, shipmates were there, companions were there. They too searched for the treasure. When they could not find the booty or the wealth or the treasure on that island, they left Ben Gunn marooned. Marooned means abandoned in the island. They left him on the island. Meanwhile, the doctor, the square, and Captain Smollett had also decided to go exploring. Then, Square, Captain Smollett, and other people, they too decided to go to that place to get the treasure, unbothered by the 6 pirates who had been ordered to stay on board. So, as 6 pirates, they told them to board the ship to care for the ship. As these 3 people, they went to search the treasure. They took the ship's jolly boat and rowed ashore. The 6 people who were there on the ship, they enjoyed themselves and they rowed the ship to the shore. They soon found what was known as the stockade. Then, very soon, they found the place which they had heard it about the stockade, a sturdy log cabin. So what is it? It was the sturdy log cabin with loopholes for muskets. There were loopholes for muskets. Muskets means an early type of gun with a long barrel in its wall. So muskets were found on its wall, protected by a perimeter fence, and that place was protected by perimeter boundary of stout wooden paling 6 feet high, and it was fenced by the wooden paling which was 6 feet high. They decided this was as good a place as any to make a stand against the pirate. So why that place was on a little height? Because one could make a stand against the pirates, and hurried back to the Hispaniola for supplies, and immediately he can hurry to the Hispaniola for supplies. While the square's gamekeeper Red Ruth, here Red Ruth is also name of a person, he kept the pirates at gunpoint. That person was standing and he was trying to shoot the other persons. The captain and the others made several journeys ashore with provisions, arms, and ammunitions. So captains and other persons with the square who were there, they tried to get the arms and ammunitions from the shore. On the final trip back to the stockade, the captain, the square, and the doctor, along with those still loyal to them. So the persons whoever were there, that is the Captain Smollett, Square, and Doctor, they were still sincere to each other. were attacked by more of the pirates. So these all persons were attacked by few more pirates. The pirates lost one dead and two more injured. Then the pirates who had come there, one person dead from them and two persons were injured. But Red Ruth was also shot and died soon after. So Red Ruth, who was making the point to shoot the others, he was also shot and died very soon. The pirates who had retreated started a bombardment from the ship's cannon. So those all pirates who were there, they started bombarding the ship's canal, but as the stockade was out of the Hispaniola's sight, so Hispaniola was not seen from the stockade. The balls fell well wide of their marks, so they could not be able to shoot down. So the balls were falling wide of their mark. Thank you, children.